going on, team? Welcome back along to the channel where it is Team of the Week time for round number 9 of the subscriber series. That's right, the Global Rugby Challenge has kicked in through 9 rounds now, and if you haven't been tuning into the last round of the series, or you missed a game or two, or it's just been too long since you watched them, let's have a bit of a recap as to the round 9 results, which started off with the Exeter Chiefs hosting the Celtic Dragons. That game was a bit closer than I think the Dragons would have liked, with the final score there being 21-35, the Dragons picking up the opening win of round number 9. Into game number 2 of round 9, the Crusaders were at home versus the Flakers. A similar scoreline to what we've seen with the Chiefs and the Dragons. This time, the Crusaders were the ones to go down 28-35. Now, 35 was the number of the round as well, as our third and final match was also by a 35 scoreline. This one was the big one of the round, though. It was the All Flakes versus the Guardians of the Crib. The big clash of the round, the sub-clash of the round, but also it was the first subscriber clash for the All Flakes. So this one was massive for the franchise. With the other 3 subscriber sides all sitting 1 win, 1 loss, and all to play the All Flakes, this was going to be really, really decisive. And the Guardians of the Crib were the first team to face them. And I think the All Flakes, it's fair to say, stunned everyone by thrashing the Guardians of the Crib 35-7 in the final game of round number 9. Now, Team of the Week has been heavily involved by the All Flakes. So, after that performance, can you really argue? We head into round number 10 and we have another 3 games of the All Flakes in action yet again in another subscriber clash, but the round kicks off with the Celtic Dragons going up against the Crusaders. Second game is the big one. It's the Flakers this time at home, which could be a bit of a difference up against the All Flakes. And the round rounds out nicely with the Guardians of the Crib looking to bounce back and continue that striving excellence of getting into the top 2 when they face up against French club Toulon. There's a lot of action going on around the fields as well, but let's have a look at the leading statistical makers of the Global Rugby Challenge so far this season. Try scorers is one that is always a bit of an interesting one as to where the leaders come from. Now, we've seen Nanukisi lead the way for a long time. We got a stalemate with half the teams on 4 tries. Now, we have, well, 2 out-and-out leaders for tries. Thomas Barkley, who picked up 4 in the Flakers' big victory, has shot straight to the top with 6 tries to his name now. He sits with a friend, though, and it is Bob Dinola from the Celtic Dragons, who has been phenomenal since moving to the wing, also sitting on 6 tries. Our former leader, Nanukisi, is still sitting in a bit of a logjam. He's got 5 from the Flakers, alongside his teammate is Theo Clark, also with 5 tries to their name. Then we have a whole pile of players sitting on 4 tries. Jamali Gino from the Flakers, Joshua Barrett also from the Flakers. Then we have our first couple from the All Flakes with Liam Symes-Wells and Adam Fleetwood, a player I've been pretty critical of, storming into the leading try scorers, and alongside them, of course, Kieran Jones, the 1 rep from the Guardians of the Crib. So those are the guys that finished the deals, but how about the ones that create them? The leading line breakers of the Global Rugby Challenge. Now, leading the way here is, again, Jim Aligino from the Flakers. 10 line breaks. Individual brilliance. A guy like Jim Aligino can take a game and turn it on its head. A couple of All Flakes, 3 in fact, sit second with Adam Fleetwood. Yeah, the man we just talked about, sitting on 9 alongside Samer Coop. Also on 9, the All Flakes fly half. A third All Flakes player, Liam Symes-Wells, sits third with 8, and alongside him Arthur Brunso from the Celtic Dragons. Interesting there, only 1 player from the Flakers and no one from the Guardians of the Crib, which is very, very interesting. An area where the Guardians are picking up their points, however, is through the boot of 1 man who is leading the point-scoring tally, and of course that is Dom Butler from the Guardians of the Crib. 71 points to his name. He is well and by far the leading point scorer. He's got a bit of competition coming up from behind though. Samer Coop sitting on 53. Owen Richards from the Flakers on 51. Shane O'Sullivan from the Dragons, and Andrew Inch also from the Celtic Dragons, sharing the load there with 37 and 35 respectively between the two of them. And finally, for the stat leaders, it is the tacklers. Now, this is the defensive statistic where the leaders are guys that normally don't get the accolades that the try scorers, the point scorers, those sort of guys do. So this is a real good one to credit some of the other players in the competition. Now, this is a strange one as well because normally good for the forwards. We've got a scrum half who is leading the pack here. Ken Lynch from the Guardians of the Crib with 34 tackles to his name is leading the way. But it is bizarre to say this. We have two scrum halves leading the tackle count leaderboard. It is Ken Lynch from the Guardians of the Crib and Cody Nicol from the Celtic Dragons, both on 34 successful tackles. Now, fringe defence, I guess. Is the AI always going around the fringes? They've got to be, because that is where these guys are getting all their tackles from. Also in their account is a man that does spend some time in the forwards. That is Nanook Isi, who sits there with 32 successful tackles. Samuel Torrance sits in 4th place for the most successful tackles. And yes, a winger slash fullback slash back. He's a back anyway. Sits there on 30 tackles. And then finally, Jack McCalmont from the Flakers, who is a fly half, is sitting in 5th with 29 successful tackles. 5 players, 4 of them out now backs, and 1 is a guy that switches between the back row and the midfield. So, a stat for the forwards, that the forwards just aren't doing the hard work, are they, on defence? And it is the backs, especially the scrum halves, who are getting all the accolades for the big tackles this season. Season 2 of the Global Rugby Challenge. Right, let's go to the big deal, the main event. This is the big one of the episode. Of course, the starting 15 players for Team of the Week, round number 9. Let's dig straight into it and have a look at the front row. And, I mean, before we go into it, a lot of comments after the All Flakes dismantled the Guardians of the Crib. A few coming in saying, shouldn't the Team of the Week just be the All Flakes? Which, I mean, it's hard to disagree with. But the Flakers and the Dragons did have matches against AI sides. They did have a few standouts. So I've avoided the temptation to put the All Flakes all in Team of the Week. But as you may suspect, it is heavily involved with the All Flakes players. So let's have a look at the front row. And there's 2 of them straight away in there. Nicholas Friedlander on the loose head side. Luke Lambert at hooker. And Sam Nicol from the Celtic Dragons. The only one not from the All Flakes on the tight head side of the front row. Those 2 All Flakes guys, Friedlander has been exceptional all season long. Lambert gets a rare look into Team of the Week. And Sam Nicol, I mean, these Nicol boys are just something else. The second row, we move into that now, and it is all Flakes here as well. Caleb Cook, Benjamin Grayson. I mean, these guys start off the start of the season, like, good in the line out. Good basic core role players, but boy oh boy, they have developed as the season has gone on. These guys turn over your line out as well. They don't only take their own, they'll also steal yours too. So these guys are massive parts of this All Flakes lineup, and they were both phenomenal for the All Flakes, and they went over the Guardians as well. So Cook and Grayson in the second row. The back row was really tough, really tough to put together here. I probably had 5-6 guys who I could have easily put in here without any problems at all. But these are 3 I've gone with, okay? Disagree, may agree. Leave in the comments what you think about the back row. At 6, blindside, Dominic Jones from the Celtic Dragons. 7, Dean Mumberg from the All Flakes. And at number 8, the only representative from the Guardians of the Crib, Elliot Malpass. Now, I've got 2 specific names that I'm going to say should be in the Team of the Week, but I mean, we just can't have 5 back rows. Connor Nicholson from the Flakers, who was also phenomenal around the field, and Jack O'Sullivan, who initially was in my Team of the Week, but I just had to fit those 5 into 3. It just has someone had to miss out, and poor old Jack, I'm sorry to say, deserved to be there, as did Connor, but not to be this week. But both those guys exceptional. But Jones, Mumberg, and Malpass are my 3 for the Team of the Week. Okay, forward pack, done and dusted, I think looks very nice as well. Let's go to the backs who do all the tackling, as the stats seem to tell us. And Jimmy Henderson from the All Flakes will be lining up at scrum half. Really good performance from him. He was at his peak, I think, the best game we've seen from Henderson, and we've seen him in Team of the Week before as well. So really lifting his game up in the big subscriber series clash was Jimmy. Outside him will be the number 10 from the Flakers, the fly half Jack McCalmont, who ran the show brilliantly. I think he created so many chances, a very explosive running game that did manipulate a lot of space from McCalmont, which we'll get to the wingers soon, but one man definitely benefited massively from the way McCalmont played. Midfield is going to be the midfield partnership from the All Flakes, Georgie Pullman and Adam Fleetwood. I'll say it again, I'm a big critic of Adam Fleetwood. He was garbage in the first few rounds, but we didn't have too much depth in that position, so we had to keep chucking him back in there. And boy, has he come good now. A phenomenal round 9 clash, and Georgie Pullman, put him anywhere, this guy is class. On the wings, I'll go to the right wing first because I think the left winger is the man of the round and deserves special mention. Bogdanola played at 13 for the Dragons last round, but I think he played well enough that we got to put him in the team of the week, and we know he plays really well on the wing too. And we didn't really have standout wingers apart from the other guy who we'll talk about in just a second. But Bogdanola on the right, really good match for him at outside centre. Fullback, Samuel Torrance from the Celtic Dragons as well. Normally on the wing, Torrance, I think he had a solid game at fullback for the Dragons in an overall pretty quiet week, or round I should say, for fullbacks in the competition. But let's all hold it up now for the left wing. This is a no-brainer. Man of the round, phenomenal performance, and he is also the leading try scorer, Thomas Barkley from the Corn Flakers. 4 tries in a one game. That is just freakish, and they weren't easy tries either, let's be fair. There was a lot of hard work going on for Mr. Barkley on his left wing. He had to chase hard balls, he had to break tackles, he had to manipulate defense maneuvers, he had to do it all. He was really on top of his game. Best performance I've seen from a winger probably since Jameli Gino in Season 1 had a similar cracker of a match. Just sensational from Barkley. Man of the round, easily sensational, and deserves every piece of plaudit coming his way from that performance. And you got to say, for the Flakers, will be about one of the first names on the team sheet from now on after showing those wares and what he can do given the opportunities. Thomas Barkley, well played, by far performance of the round. But that is it. That is your starting 15 for Team of the Week. What do you guys think about this side? Agree, disagree? All Flakes fans, I think you should be happy. You've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 15s. Over half the squad is All Flakes players. The real losers this round were the Guardians of the Crib. One representative, I thought. You've got to have someone in there. I thought Elliot Malpass did put in a good display for that side. And the Dragons and the Flakers, good rounds from those two sides as well. But the All Flakes Team of the Week, can they back it up for their second subscriber clash in as many weeks? Remember what we got coming up? Dragons, Crusaders, Flakers, All Flakes, and then Guardians versus Toulon. That is round 10. Hope to see you all there for those games as well. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Leave your thoughts, as always, in the comments below. I do read them all. And we'll see you for our next match. First game of round 10. Dragons, Crusaders. Until then, take care.